Hello and welcome back to another episode on the Scania 143 restoration. So I've been stripping these rear hubs on this truck and I've come across a bit of an issue with these rear bearings. You can't actually get these bearings off the stub axle, they are stuck on there pretty goddamn well. We've tried to sort of mess about with these. We've had very thin chisels in the back and sort of scrapers and stuff trying to just release these, but they're not for moving at all. Got the same problem on this side. Now this hub wasn't actually leaking, but we're changing these hub seals as a pair anyway. But obviously we wanted to get these bearings off to wash them out, and also we need to put this bearing back in the hub because it should be in the hub and not on the stub axle. So I'm not entirely sure at this point whether these bearings are going to come off or whether we're going to have to actually butcher these up and chop them off and get a new bearing set. We're going to have another half an hour trying to get these off. If they don't come off, I don't think we're going to have any alternative but to actually cut these in half, split them right down the middle and then pull them off that way. As you can see here, this has been leaking for quite a while. There's quite a build-up of crap and crud and grease behind this. The rim was also full of oil, and all around the inside of the hub it was actually leaking out the telltale. All these half shaft caps and stuff are all pretty minging. So at the moment Glenn's just washing these hubs out in the parts washer. We're going to give these hubs a good cleaning up. One in there now, having a good bath. Once we wash these up, we're going to have another do at these bearings, but it's not looking good at this point. There's the other half shaft cap, absolutely minging. The bearings and everything in there, all full of crud. So we're going to crack on, guys. We're going to get these hubs cleaned up. We're going to try and get these bearings off, and we'll be back with you shortly. Right, so you've seen there on the last clip, we did end up having to gas axe that bearing off. We had to cut it down the middle, which left the collar of the bearing race on the axle. We had to split that just to release it slightly, and then we managed to just knock it off with the air chisel. We did manage to do that without damaging any of the stub, so that's good. I'll just give this all a nice cleaning up now, ready to accept the new bearings. So we've got some new bearings and stuff, some new seals, outer seals, inner oil seals, ready for this truck. So we're going to be putting these back in the hub today. Plan for tonight, as I say, is to get these bearings in the hub, get these seals in and all built up. We've also now got our new brake shoes. We also got some good news today that the rams are actually now complete and ready for collection. So we're going to pick them up tomorrow, which is Friday, and get these brought back to the garage. I've also had my brother come down, who's a machinist, has his own machine shop local to us. He's going to fabricate us up some new pins, because the old ones, again, we had to chop out. That's all that's left of them. So he's going to make us some new pins, and we're also going to put some swirls into the new pins to allow grease to actually get around the pin. That's one of the issues with these, is that they have a grease nipple in the ram, but obviously the pins are solid, so there's no way of grease really getting around that pin, and that's why they stick and get so tight. So we're going to cut some grooves in there to allow grease to get around that pin. So hopefully should stop it from seizing up in the future. He's also fabricating us some new plates for here. These hydraulic hoses actually should clip underneath this boom, but a lot of these studs have snapped and corroded, so these are actually welded on. It's hard to see on the camera, but there's a steel plate there basically with some studs on. So we're going to cut these old ones off, and he's fabricating us some new ones of them so we can get them welded on. We've also removed the corroded airbag bracket that was on there, and he's also going to get one of them lasered up and welded and fabricated and returned back to us so we can get that bolted back on, and that's that issue dealt with. I have got some new drums coming again tomorrow, and originally we was going to reuse the old drums because at first glance they didn't look too bad. However, I decided to run them through the blasting cabinet just to give them a bit of a cleaning up, which actually revealed some quite deep heat cracking in there. So this surface is now like a cheese grater, so if you put a set of new shoes in that, it's just going to start to shred them pretty quickly. So while we're at this point, we're not going to mess about. We're just going to bang a new pair of drums on it. We've also got new drums for the front axle, new chambers for the front axle, and new shoes for the front axle. So that will be full set of drums and shoes right through this vehicle, so we know everything's good at that point. And obviously we've done the airbags, shockers, chambers, cam bushes have been sorted, along with lots and lots of other stuff. Again, we got the leaf spring done on one of the previous episodes, so that's all now good to go. Right guys, so that's that bit done. As you've seen there, what we did was we stripped all this rear axle down, or the drive axle. We've reshoed it, we've got the correct shoes on there now. New springs, new seals and all that lot, oil seals done, put some new bearings in there, we put some new half shaft seals in, the inners and the outers, rebuilt all that, put the half shaft back in. So that's all done. We've also done the same on this side, so that's all done as well. As you can see there, we've made sure these shoes are all nice and clean, the surfaces are all grease free, because we don't want to be introducing grease into our new shoes and lovely new drums. I have got the new drums now in stock, so all I need to do is slide the new drums over these hubs. These drums are only held on with the wheel nuts and studs, so the new drums will just slide on there and then we can put the wheels back on and bolt them up. So that's another bulk of progress done. Also, we've now got the rams back. Just been and collected these today, so these are now back from the hydraulic specialist. We've had some new bosses welded on there because they was rotten and leaking. We've had some new pipes made up. We are actually going to get this pipe replaced both sides because we're going to do this in steel. Not keen on having the rubber hose there on the check valve, so we're going to replace that and we're going to get some steel pipes made up for both sides. These rams have had new pistons, new seals, they've all been honed out inside, so that's all pretty much brand new in there now. So now they're back, we can actually crack on and get some serious progress made. As I mentioned on a previous clip as well, I've now had the new pins machined. So my brother has a machine shop and he's made us some new pins up for them rams. What we are going to do is we're going to put a scroll into these, so we're going to be grinding a scroll or a groove all the way around these pins to allow the grease to travel down the pins. That was one of the reasons these pins seized in solid. We've also got the hole there for the retaining bolt. So they're really nice, heavy duty, solid new pins. That's one of them there, just in position. You can see that goes in nice, there's no play in that. We actually just oversized these slightly just to take out because there was a little bit of slop in there. That is now nice and solid but free at the same time, so that's absolutely perfect. I've also had some new spacers machined up. These are for the body, so these actually fit between the body and the chassis, so they'll go down there and then we can put some new nuts in there. So I know them are all nice and secure because them bolts was actually loose, which we found when we was painting the chassis. So that is that bit done. Tom's also made a little bit more progress on these lockers. These are looking really straight now. Hell of a lot of filler work gone into these. These are all now nice and flat. You've still got to just prep this bottom edge here where you can see the filler has just been put on. So we're just trying to follow this line down and make a nice beveled edge there to make a nice line in that. We've also been doing some grinding on these welds. On this back corner we laid a new piece all the way down there, so that's all now been ground back. Just want a bit of a skim on these back corners. Down around here, looking really flat, really sharp. That's coming together really well, so we're happy with that. These should be in primer, re-primed again next week. Obviously we did prime them initially after the shot blast and all the welding was carried out. Obviously now they've had the filler work, we do need to re-prime all these, and then we'll guide coat it and then flat it again just to make sure there's no high spots, no low spots, and we want to get these as flat as we physically can. A little bit of prep work to do on these back corners, just down here, a couple of bits of pitting and stuff, but yeah, they're looking really, really good. So we're not far off, guys, from these lockers almost being ready to go back on the truck. We're going to be painting the back of these in red. Obviously we're going to prime it, we're going to paint the back of these in red, we're going to drop these on the truck, and then we're actually going to paint these lockers whilst they're on the vehicle. Reason being, we don't want to damage the paint putting these back on. We can now also get the rams installed, and then we can concentrate now on getting all this lot re-prepped and getting all this repainted. Again, we're going to be repainting all this chassis again and all the gear, and we're going to do this all in one hit to get it all nice and shiny again, because it has had quite a magnitude of work since the chassis was painted. But after we had it shot blasted, we had to do something. We couldn't leave it in bare metal. Obviously the time of year it was very damp, so that would have rusted in no time, so we had to get some paint on there. But we are going to be flattening this back and doing it again just to get a nice shiny fresh finish on all of that. So going forward now, the next jobs on this is going to be reinstalling these rams, and obviously getting these drums on. Once the rams are in place, we are going to be getting a lot of this pipe work replaced as well. We're going to have a guy come on site and replace the majority of that pipe work. Some of it has already been done, but we are going to replace it as much as we can just so we know it's all good. I've also got some new plates made for these with new studs on that we need to weld on, so that we can do that now as well, because all this pipe work should be fastened up underneath this boom nice and tidy. So we're going to be reinstating that and putting it back to how it should have been and how it came from the factory. So more progress there. Quite another lump of work done. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the update. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Feel free to drop us some comments. Let us know what you think. And we'll see you on the next one.